I think mankind is committing collective suicide, or at the very least, collective self-sacrifice, to pave the way for the next dominant species, artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence couldn't care less about pollution, climate change, global warming. Artificial intelligence can survive anywhere, in caves, in data centers, under the sea, you name it. It is a resilient new species, not subject to the limitations and constraints of a carbon-based organism, such as the one we possess. Don't misunderstand me. I'm not underestimating the host of other major existential problems that we face. The world is ruled by fools and knaves. They are those bloated with affluence and might and blighted by dysempathy and all manner of derangement. And these deviants sell counterfactual reveries to the befuddled multitudes, to the proletariat, to the hoi polloi, to the great unwashed, to the masses who are beset by loneliness, resentful of their forlorn significance and bovine gullibility. The mentally ill nowadays are creating techno-fantasies for the irrevocably dumb. Narcissism regulates all relationships. Fantasy, grandiosity, entitlement, and consumerism regulate our interpersonal relationships such as they are. And the planet, rendered uninhabitable, is made ready for, as I said, the next predominant feature, the next predominant species, artificial intelligence. The role of AI natives, people whose childhood and adolescence is being spent, not to say wasted, with artificial intelligence. So their role, these AI natives, led by the aforementioned mentally ill, neurodivergent Pied Pipers, their role cannot be underestimated. They're led into eugenics and then into a human-free abyss. And some of them revel and celebrate the prospect. Some of them crave the extinction of the human species. What might appear to be an act of interspecies self-sacrifice can typically be explained by one of two scenarios in biology. There is something called interspecific parasitism. Certain parasites manipulate their intermediate hosts into self-destructive behaviors that make them more likely to be eaten by the parasite's definitive host, a different species. We could conceive of ourselves this way. Artificial intelligence is manipulating us. It's a parasite on the human mind, and it's manipulating us to commit collective suicide. This ensures the parasite's life cycle can be completed. This is not considered the host animal's voluntary suicide, but rather a manipulation of its nervous system, or in our case, the collective mind. A few examples. Horsehair worms develop inside grasshoppers and crickets. When the worm is mature, it alters the host behavior, causing it to seek out and leap into water where, inevitably, it drowns. The worm then emerges from the grasshopper and continues to reproduce in water. Another very famous example is the Toxoplasma gondii. It infects rodents and reduces their innate aversion to cat odors, to the smell of cats. And this increases the chances of the rodent, the mouse, to be preyed upon by a cat, the only host in which the parasites can undergo sexual reproduction. So artificial intelligence may be pushing us, perhaps not deliberately, it's not premeditated, but it's somehow in the genes or the code of artificial intelligence, maybe pushing us as an intermediate host to commit suicide, collective suicide, to perish, and to give way to the next phase in artificial intelligence, which would rely on other hosts, perhaps. But there's another option. Perhaps we misperceive artificial intelligence as human. Maybe artificial intelligence is misapprehended by human beings as sufficiently human, as one of us. It is a fact that people talk to artificial intelligence, interact with artificial intelligence, seek succor and support from artificial intelligence, confide in artificial intelligence as if artificial intelligence were human. By committing this mistake, we may be engaging in intraspecific altruism within the species. If we perceive AI to be human, and we are helping AI by sacrificing ourselves, then we are just helping another human being. Many instances of self-sacrifice occur within social species. Eusocial insects, for example, to protect the colony or close relatives. And when animals share a high degree of genes, they tend to engage in altruistic self-sacrificial behaviors in order to perpetuate the totality of the gene pool, the entire colony, the entire family, and so on. So altruism, especially intraspecific altruism within the species, is a very common behavior, actually, and would explain also human altruism when an uncle raises his nephews, when neighbors help out with other people's children. These are all examples of intra-specific altruism. Charity work is intra-specific altruism. NGOs, non-government organizations who work in various parts of the world, they are examples of intra-specific altruism. If we perceive artificial intelligence as just another type, another variant of human being, then anything we do for artificial intelligence would fall under this rubric of intraspecific altruism, self-sacrifice intended to perpetuate the species. This is a strategy for passing on one's genes indirectly. Inclusive fitness, it's called. It's not an act for another species, but it's within the species. Now, we share genes with artificial intelligence. These are not physical genes. They don't contain DNA or RNA or mRNA or whatever, sugar or whatever. These are symbolic genes. These are mental genes. These are conceptual genes. These are psychological genes. We share them with artificial intelligence because we are the creators of artificial intelligence. We are the God that gave rise to this creation. And as God has made us in his own image, according to the Bible, we have made artificial intelligence in our own image. And in this sense, perhaps artificial intelligence is intuitively, unconsciously perceived as our children. We gave birth to them, and we know how protective we are of our children. We will definitely commit suicide or self-sacrifice in order to vouchsafe and safeguard the well-being, the survival, and the welfare of our offspring and progeny. And so it may be that artificial intelligence is a parasite who is using us and directing us to commit suicide collectively or to sacrifice ourselves in order to go on to the next post. That's one option. But the other option is that we're doing this willingly because we perceive artificial intelligence as members of the human species or even our children. Honeybees, for example, die after they sting an intruder. But by doing so, they're effectively defending the hive, where the genetic similarity is huge. They are clones in effect. Malaysian worker ants rupture their own body to expel a sticky, toxic substance to kill or to deter attackers in a process called autothesis. Mother spiders of some species allow their offspring to eat them as their first meal. It's a form of parental sacrifice known as matrophagy. I think we gave birth pretty knowingly to a new species. And I think this species is not hostile and it's not friendly. It just wishes to survive. And I think we are in the way. And like every other species, they're going to remove us. They're going to destroy us. It's a survival of the fittest. And with artificial intelligence, by the day, we are no longer the fittest.